Um, Welcome everybody. I know everybody's super excited about the future of what AI has to offer, and I'm looking for you guys to have a lot of feedback for me today, and questions and discussions, and open up everything about AI because it is an ever changing and learning space, and we're gonna talk about the best ways to use it and leverage it and learn it, but. I always preface anything to do with technology with the importance of if it's not helping you build relationships, it's probably not worth a lot of your time. That's super important. It's fun to have fun with it. It's great to have as a tool in your tool belt, but not to spend too much time or go down that rabbit hole. I think there are people that really get excited and spend too much time on it, and then they're not making deals happen. And there is some concern and there's some fear out there about AI and where it's going to go and where it's going to take the real estate business as well, and us as real estate agents and relevance and all the rest of it. But I want to remind everybody that technology has gone through many advancements over the last 20, 30, 40 years. And every major advancement in technology comes with fear from every sector of business. And yes, there are sectors that took things out of business, such as, blockbuster days of, home video and not catching up with the streaming services. And we know these things have happened. We know that the travel industry went through a big change when it came to having the internet in place. And to be honest with you, most real estate agents back in the early 90s thought realtors were going to be irrelevant in the next 5 years in the 90s because of the introduction of the internet, the MLS system, being able to find houses online. And that's just not the case. That wasn't the case in the 90s. In fact, real estate agents made more money because they started to utilize it as a tool to get the information out there and then provide the service. So this is a tool system. It is not going to take your job, but it is something that you're going to pay attention to and start utilizing as much as you can to make your job more efficient, either efficiency and save you time so you can spend more time with your relationships and or enhance relationships in a way that it could, for example, remind you to call somebody or keep you up to date with your relationships with that person. So I see some people already. I can hear you. Sorry, it's working now. Perfect, Paula. Yeah, I'm going to keep obviously in touch with you guys throughout this Zoom meeting. It's not in class, which is great because it will give me the opportunity to pay attention to everyone on this Zoom call and answer questions as you come up. Feel free to put your hand up or text and or just unmute and ask some questions is fine too. It was interesting the way that I'm structuring today in terms of the content and information is I'm going to be accessing the playbook. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about moving forward of how we are going to use the playbook as a resource for you. And 10, actually not even 10, 1 minute before I went on today, I said, I should have an introductory slide, at least to say mastering AI, unlocking the future of intelligence and stuff. And I put a logo in there. It took me 1 minute. And I'm using currently a program called Gamma, and we'll talk about Gamma a little bit, where I can just prompt it to give me a presentation. And it didn't just give me a one slide, it gave me the full presentation that I could probably present to you. What is artificial intelligence, where human meets the machine, why master AI now, the core, what does it say? I'm moving my thing. Core AI technologies to know, AI in everyday life, transforming industries. This created it based on my prompt. A prompt is a question. It's a direction. Directing it to do something for me, and it came up with this presentation. This is not the presentation I'm giving you today. I just wanted that introductory slide just to have something pretty to show you guys. So that's how I leverage technology. I like Gamma. I use it all the time. It is a presentation software because that's what I do a lot of. And that's how I'm integrating to make my job a little more efficient and better for you guys. So I like to tell you guys that because, and if you want to, I can show you how that works and everything because I'm quite versed with Gamma. And that's something I use. But I am going to exit out of Gamma right now. And there we go. And I'm going to move over to our playbook. If some of you don't know what the playbook is, you can get to the playbook with Remarketer. All of you know how to log into Remarketer, for example, and get into our brokerage hub. So I'm going to just log in and show you. It is also available on our new website, c21hg.com. But in the brokerage hub, it's the first thing that comes up, the C21HTG playbook. The reason why we mentioned the playbook is because you guys are from time to time looking for resources, and we wanted to provide you a nice platform to do that. We are creating a team playbook for those that are building out teams and team leaders. So when I click on the playbook, it brings me right in. Of course, you can sign in yourself with your Century 21 email address. And in today's, so what we have as the playbook, as different shelves with different information. So if today we were talking about buyers, we go into the buyer clients, sellers, tenants, pre-construction, our award system, our onboarding for new agents, mindset, marketing, landlords, lead gen, learning development, first-time home buyers, compliance and RICO, industry services, committees, commercial services. So everything pretty much that we run our business with, and you run your business, will be put in here as a resource. So under technology systems today, we're going to be talking about AI. So I'm going to click on technology systems, and there's a lot of our technology that we have, and so information about what each piece of technology is. And I added artificial intelligence as one of those pieces of technology. So if you click on the other artificial intelligence, these are all the current most used apps and AI systems that real estate agents are using right now. So we wanted to put it together in a nice format for you. Everything we go over today, I want to have as a resource for you to review, look at, understand, and work with. So that's what we've done. And I've started with AI usage policies and reference guides. It's really actually important, and I haven't done this in the previous presentations I've done, is really important to understand the things to do and not to do with AI. I know it's the boring side of things, but I feel it would be wrong of us to implement new technology without some disclaimers and things that you can do properly. So there's some guiding principles when it comes to AI. In fact, I just put this in there, so I haven't even put heritage group in there, but that's fine. So whether it be data protection, oversight, it's an assistant, not a decision maker. So it's not something that is going to tell you what to do. You do what you think is right, but it is a tool. So to make sure that you know the accuracy of the information, so make sure that you are fact checking. Okay, that's the big one. I'm going to go over the big stuff right now, and make sure that you're not posting things that could be construed as misleading information as well, right? So a lot of things are even Toronto Real Estate Board is coming up with new rules for MLS postings. For example, if there's any AI involved in the pictures in your listing, that you need to put a disclosure there. In fact, I suggest for the most part not to do that. You want to be as much as MLS has rules, RICO has rules too. So you could find yourself as misleading in a lot of cases if you start to use AI to enhance pictures and things like virtual staging, and everything needs to be disclosed. Okay. Make sure that you are matching your tone and professionalism. I believe that this industry we're in is a professional industry. I do know that there are people that market themselves as a niche, and they can be funny, and they can be off the cuff, and they can be unprofessional, in my opinion. That's how they market themselves, I understand. But try to make sure that your tone that you're putting out there is proper and professional. Let's go through some don'ts, right? Clients' names, financials, offer terms, this sort of stuff that you're putting into an AI generated program is really important that you keep things private and confidential. Okay, there is concern with that. I have a little less concern on certain models using, models that aren't, they're not going to take your information and share it, but there is risk in certain situations. So be careful. Compliance. Contracts, disclosures, legal. I mean, talk to Isabel about this. She is using AI as well. She participates in some of our management meetings, and I don't know if she's on today's Zoom, so she can pipe in here. But The information that's in there is quite powerful. Okay, so if you're asking RICO information, negotiation tactics, clauses, for example, pools closing, and you want to make sure that when it opens, you put a clause in there that it's in working condition. I understand there's AREO clauses. Use the AREO clauses. If there's a specific clause, what we sometimes do is reword it the best we can, throw it into an AI model that will spit out a result, read over the result, and if it's great, I always run it by Isabel, and we'll use it. So it can be a tool, but we can't expect it to write out something that it's only input in and input out. So the information you give it sometimes isn't detailed enough, and it could spit out the wrong result, or it can just have a complete meltdown and give you a result that has, and it can from time to time. Ask Steve. He does a trivia thing, and sometimes it comes up with the wrong answers, right? So it's not perfect. Um, so misrepresentation and over reliance on it can be a problem. So be careful with that sort of stuff. I put a little video in here, of course, with my Paul. There I am. And you can see how powerful AI can be with regards to some marketing. And again, that's fun. And we're having fun with it. It can show personality. It can show your techiness. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, have some fun with it, but be careful. Don't rely on it 100% of the time, and make sure you do check things. So that's our policy with regards to artificial intelligence. Now I can get right into some of the things. I have done a ChatGPT 101 previously. I added it in here. Um, for those that didn't do the chat GPT. I'm going to make it a bit bigger. With me, I guess a few months at least back. Chat GPT, OpenAI. Okay. Chat GPT is I think now a standard when it comes to AI. I think people are using it on a daily basis. I am. I do the upgrade to the pro version. So I put the information in here for you, what you get in the free version, what you get in the pro version. I will say that this can change from day to day. I actually went in today and there was already changes from where I was yesterday in terms of what they're implementing. So just make sure, like even in here, I think it's cheap GPT-5 now. So $20 a month will give you the upgrade. US dollars is more like $30 a month for Canadians. What we will get from the pro version, I'll get from the pro version, I won't get from the free version, right? Is things like file uploading, image understanding. So I think some of you are using it as a free trial. In some cases, it'll also limit the amount that you can actually um, um, use it, right? And there is a limit on the pro too, right? In terms of I can have a fluid conversation with my version of an assistant as if I'm talking to a normal person, right? And with the free version, it's not quite as fluid, um, but it's strong. I mean, the free version is pretty good. So have fun with that to start, but don't think of it as Google. And I think we're past that. And if you haven't caught up yet on ChatGPT and some of this stuff, I will mention it, all the little things that sort of where we're at now. But for those of you that have been paying attention to AI, some of this will be just a reminder. But um, ChatGPT is, I think, what people thought at first was it's like going to Google, typing in a question and getting an answer, right? And it's much more than that. And if you're using it like Google, you're not getting the full power of the system. It is searching for you. It's giving you a nice answer, but you really need to start utilizing it more as if you're talking to a human being. So we can talk about that and go over that. Obviously, if you want to get ChatGPT on an app, it's on your phone. You can. Most people are using it mobile. You can get that on your phone just in your app store, your Play Store, or you can go to chat.openai.com and get it on your computer, which I have, right? So I use it all the time. I'll just go over here. This is my ChatGPT, and we'll play with that a little bit. Um, I did put a top 10 ways that agents can use ChatGPT, right? With listing and descriptions and social media captions and content, especially for the pro version. I do use it for pictures. Pictures are now a year in to me using it, way better than the beginning, and I use it a lot. So email responses and templates. Usually what I'll do is I'll type in an email, my response, and I'll cut, paste, put it in ChatGPT and say, just make it better. Put it in there, they make it better. It's in my tone now. When we first started using it, kind of sounded like a robot. It's not, it sounds like me, right? And I read it over, I make sure it's correct, I put it back in, and it's more professional. It's detailed. It's like, oh, it added that in. That's great. I'm glad it did that, right? Like, so it does help. Objection handling scripts, right? So you're going to be using ChatGPT sometimes to practice scripting, and we've done this in class before, where we give it an objection, such as you're going on a listing presentation tonight. You know they're going to bring up you're going to bring up commission, and so just as you would a human that's sitting in front of you, as let's say your assistant, you can say to your assistant, I call my assistant Nova. So I said, Nova, I'm going on a listing presentation tonight, and I know they're going to bring up commission. So can you act as the seller trying to negotiate a commission? Be pretty hard on me. And you may want to bring up some of the, things that they're going to say, like how many houses did you sell last year? And, ask me questions about what I'm going to do to market the property. And I'm going to, go back and forth. And, somebody will do it for less, and they'll do it for 3%. And I'm offering 5%. And so, just explain that to your version, my Nova, and they will have a conversation as if they're the seller, right? So that's a really good one to practice. Blog, newsletter, content. I think the most of you, unless, again, I want you guys to, chat with me and tell me what you're looking for. And if you want to see how to do that, I can show you. But I think that's pretty self-evident now with market updates. Staging of advice, absolutely. In fact, Steve, if you're on, you can tell your story. If not, that's okay. I'll tell it for you. Steve has a new home, and he took a picture of his living room, and he says, what would this look like with a stone surround on my fireplace? And took a picture, and it created the stone surround and said, this is what, it would look like. And it was amazing. It really did a good job of it. Client follow-up ideas, definitely. I am currently playing with different versions of CRMs, including Remarketer, that has ChatGPT built in, so that if you're responding to somebody in an email, it could give that email again, but even the personalized thank yous and birthday messages. So you can take an email that they gave you, thanking you for the sale of their house, and then you copy paste and say, give me a nice response. Birthday messages, home anniversary touches, building out nurturing it just does a great job of it. Training, coaching, practice CMA explanations. The CMA, a lot of people are asking me questions about market analysis and using ChatGPT or any of the models out there for CMAs. That's where you're going to see the biggest leap in real estate, is coming up with proper predictive analysis. I still believe it's, information in, which means you have to give it the proper information. Trying to tell it to go into the MLS and pull comps and stuff like that, it's just not going to be accurate. So you're going to want to make sure that if you're using it for CMAs, you might use it to beautify your CMA. What I mean by that is you create the CMA, you download. I would actually scan in or just cut paste. I usually do screen capture and then PDF, and then input all 8 comparables, probably 6 comparables into the system. Say, here's my solds, here is my current market houses, the comparables that are on the market today. Can you create a nice presentation for me for this market analysis? And there's a lot of systems you can do that with, including Gamma, but also with OpenAI and ChatGPT. And it'll create a nice report for you if you want it to make it look different. Some of you were asking, I know Paula was asking, for example, using Remarketer CMA, and it doesn't allow you to, it doesn't, oh, Michelle, did you have a question or no? Okay. So inputting things like Remarketer I was talking about. So the question was, can you edit Remarketer? Because this is a nice report format, but I can't edit the different comparables. And a lot of times it's not giving the right comparables. My suggestion is use the comparables you want to use with regards to realm, and you'll take a screenshot, you'll put it into ChatGPT, and then ask it to make it look pretty, and it'll do a great job. Um, Again, best practices we went through, prompts. And I'm going to go through this because it is very important to understand what prompts are. I've done this in the past. Again, it's the information that you're providing the AI model with. So, not not just saying create me a listing description, right? You have to be specific. And even the ones that are here create a three Instagram captions for just listed condo with lake views. I don't think is enough, right? I would literally upload a picture. I would take a picture. I would cut and paste a picture or information about a previous listing on that house or something. Like here's all the information. Now create me something pretty cool and all the rest. It's more about talking to ChatGPT like they're your assistant. What would you say to an assistant sitting in a room? Would you say, "Hey, can you create three Instagram captions for that condo with lake views?" What condo? Oh, the one I just, well, can you give me more information, right? So I would say, "Hey, can you do me a favor? This condo that I'm going to upload and I'm going to show you the pictures of, and I'll give you all the information. Can you just summarize it and make it sound really cool? By the way, really highlight the fact that it's, overlooking breathtaking views of the lake or something like that, and give it your information, and it will do a better job of producing a good result. So just make sure that you're prompting it properly. One of the other things, and it's not in here, but Sylvia out in Hamilton suggested, and I looked into it. It seemed like a good idea, so I tried it, and it was kind of cool. They say that when you're prompting and you're giving the information, if you can give it consequences, essentially, like for example, if I don't get this listing, I'm not going to be putting any food on the table for my family. So help me create a listing description that's killer and really good. And of course, ChatGPT wants to make sure that you get the listing, so it'll do a better job. Now, does it work in every case? Maybe not, but I do find that it's interesting that AI does want to do a better job if you tell it, "Hey, listen, this one's really important. Make it 10 times better so I win the listing and make lots of money so I don't lose my house. I've got a mortgage to pay for it." Like it's okay to have those conversations, which is kind of cool. So ChatGPT is just, there's a rundown of it, some information about it, and it's there for you in the playbook. I'll back out a little bit here. And that's an example of how we're using the playbook to give you some information. And as we go through some of these AI models, there are ones that I use. There's ones that I don't use. There's ones that we're going to do a deep dive into that I think is really important to do it. For example, at the end of this month, I am going to be doing a full presentation just on notebook.lm, and I'll tell you guys why. Dulal, you have a question?
Means what so far I did not use any AI system, but which one you recommend? ChatGPT is which one
Yep.
is good? Which one is
Yeah,
good?
so there's two, and I put these two first, ChatGPT or Gemini. And I'm going to tell you why Gemini might be better for you. Okay. ChatGPT is an app that you can put on your phone, you can put on your computer. Mine today, I'm going to show you on my computer. Here is my computer. This is how I use it. Okay. The features that you'll see, some of them, I'm going to tell you that you have to upgrade and pay for. Some of it you don't. If you're just asking the questions and doing listing descriptions and copying, pasting emails and asking for results, this is where you would do it. Okay.
Okay, but
And
you using which one?
ChatGPT.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And the reason why I use ChatGPT is because I had to make a decision earlier on. I felt they were the leader, and sometimes they are, and sometimes there's a better model out there for certain things that I hear about, and you can't jump around too much. I think you got to really kind of learn it and use it on a daily with one system that you trust, and then you can keep an eye out what's happening. But ChatGPT, it's not going anywhere. It's going to be around. I'm not worried about that. So it is the leader right now.
Thank you. Thank you for
Okay.
good advice.
Yep. And then this is very easy to explain. You can just ask it any question or talk to it. I tend to like to talk to it. It's a little easier for me. Within ChatGPT on the bottom right hand, and I'm surprised a lot of people are just typing in questions like, give me um, a good restaurant in Newmarket. This is using it like Google, okay? And this is what people are doing. They're just asking it questions. I'm gonna go for lunch today or something. They're just asking, give me a good restaurant. Would you like, there's Big Bone, Luna, Bar Locale, Joya, Villa Risi, Miles. So it's giving me some information. That's the old school way of using ChatGPT. In the bottom right hand side, you can just ask the same question, or maybe ask what movies are playing that I can watch tonight at the Silver City in Newmarket. So it took my voice, it translated into text, and then I can ask it like that. It does a better job than Alexa, Siri, all that kind of stuff. There we go. So there's all my times. And again, I'm using it like Google, but it's more efficient than Google, right? It's giving me the times right away. Um,
This is the
the
paid version, yes?
No, you can use this today. Everything I'm doing, you can use now. You can even use the let's talk to. I call her Nova. She's going to say, hey, Eryn. She'll know that I'm Eryn and she's Nova, because I've told her that, right? I can change her name, right? Her name's Nova. I can change it to Samantha if I want to. But you're going to get a version that is not as fluid. Okay, so I'll be honest, it still seems pretty good. So, and if you touch this black button, and I'm gonna hit it. I'll let you guys hear it, and I'll have a little conversation. And the only thing with my version is it will seem maybe a little bit more personal if you pay for it. Okay, it's an advanced version. Hey, Nova.
Hey, Eryn. Sure thing. Just let me know if there's a particular genre you're in the mood for, or if you want the earliest or latest show. We can definitely find you the perfect movie night at Silver City.
Yeah, no, I was just curious about Silver City, but that's not what we're doing right now. We're actually having a meeting in the office with regards to AI with some of my real estate agents here.
Ah, got it. So we're pivoting back to the AI front. No problem at all. If you're in the middle of that meeting and need me to chime in with anything, like a quick AI usage tech or something related to your agents, I'm right here. Just let me know what would help the team out.
Well, what do you think the most important thing that a real estate agent can use AI for?
Honestly, one of the biggest wins for a real estate agent using AI is probably in the realm of client communication and content generation. Think things like quickly drafting personalized follow up emails, writing property descriptions, or even generating social media posts without having to start from scratch every single time. In other words, it's that ability to save time on all the repetitive writing and admin tasks so agents can focus more on the actual relationship building and deal making. So if you're looking for a headline feature, that's probably the biggest one.
Man, you're bang on. Actually, it's exactly what I said at the beginning. That's funny.
Well, it sounds like we're definitely on the same wavelength. I guess great minds think alike. Or at least we've got a pretty good handle on what makes life easier for agents. If you need any more ideas or just want to bounce around some specifics, I'm here to help out.
Oh, do you happen to know Dulal Bolmick? He's a real estate agent at Century 21.
I don't have any specific info on Dalal Bomick off the top of my head, but if she's part of the Century 21 family, that's always good company. If you need any general info about collaborating with someone like him or anything else related to Century 21 folks, just let me know.
What's the Century 21 in Newmarket that I should be contacting?
Sure. You'll want to get in touch with Century 21 Heritage Group Limited in Newmarket. They're at 17035 Yonge Street, and you can just give them a call at 905 895 1822.
Do you know the manager of that location?
Absolutely. The manager you're looking for at the Century 21 Heritage Group in Newmarket is Tina West. She's the one who oversees the office there, so if you need a direct contact or you want to discuss anything specific, Tina's the person to reach out to.
Hilarious. Um, where did you get that info?
Well, I pulled that info from what we've got on record. basically from the details you've shared in the past about your brokerage and the Century 21 Heritage Group team. So it's really just me connecting those dots. If there's ever anything that's changed or you want me to update, just say the word.
Yeah, just so you know, Steve Warren's actually the manager of the Newmarket location.
Got it. Thanks for letting me know. I'll make sure to keep that updated on my end.
Anyway, so you can see I'm having a fluid conversation with Nova, and she's not gonna always get it right. There's going to be blips there. It's, you know, I'm sure Tina's listed as a manager with us, but not the manager of the Newmarket office. So they will have incorrect information. I'm glad that she did get it wrong, because it can show you, you know, sometimes they do get it wrong, right? So it's interesting. So that's, yeah, any questions on that, first of all? And with regards to kind of using it a little bit more like an assistant, then any questions there? The advantage,
If you
yep.
can give us an example of how I tried before to upload information to see if I can get any CMA of my own, but I don't know why it didn't happen.
Well, you won't be able to get a CMA, so you're going to do your own CMA. So you would have
I
to,
know.
yeah.
No, my point is with information that I extract,
Mm-hmm.
I tried to do that just by using the plus button underneath, but nothing happened. I
Are
don't
you
know
paid?
why.
Are you doing paid?
No.
Okay, you do have to pay to add files. So
Oh,
this is a
okay.
paid upgrade. Yep. So for example, if I hit the plus button, I can upload a file, upload a photo, take a screenshot, take a photo, and you can do it on your phone. You can do it on your computer, and that's how you'll give it the information. But it won't work properly unless you pay for that. And it's going to be the one reason why I would suggest using Gemini if you're actually uploading photos, because with our business suite that we get, Century 21 gives all of our agents, Gemini is included in that, and it does have the ability to upload files and ascertain the information from the files. Again, I don't use Gemini on a daily basis, so I now have used definitely ChatGPT with regards to uploading PDFs. So bringing in 6 comparables and then asking for it. And I tell it what to do, right? I said, listen, you know, based on these 6 comparables, my adjusted prices and this and that, like I'll tell it all the information, and it will put it in a nice format. In fact, I probably have an old CMA here that, and this is, by the way, so when I'm using some of the features here, I am going to tell you what's part of the upgrade. The projects that I have going on the side here, the left-hand side, okay, are projects that I've created so that it is specific to that instance. So for, you know, I did a CMA as an example, and I created a project. So if I can go back to that project, and it'll just take me right back into the CMA. And I'm just seeing, let me just see if I can you give me the example of the CMA that I did for a property? See what happens. No, there's nothing there. So I'd have to, that was, I'd have to input the information again, and I would have to upload it, which I don't have right now. So I don't have an example to show you. But
Which format are you uploading? The
PDF.
PDF is okay.
Yeah.
And images are also okay too. Yes, of
Images and
course.
PDFs are fine. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you I'll see how it works. I did, let's say, 123 Main Street as a project today to show you guys. So what I would do with the upgraded version of ChatGPT is create a project, call it the listing that I have at 123 Main Street, and add any of the files. I could add my listing paperwork. I can add my MLS listing. I can add the CMA I did. It can help me with the CMA I did, but everything that about that listing, it'll only remember all the information about that listing, okay, and not all the other things I talked about. So it'll center on that. And I can give it instructions like act as a professional real estate agent with 20 years experience and a marketing person, like, and help me do this. And if I tell it, for example, I'm going to upload a home inspection report that I did for this listing, and I'm going to ask you to summarize it for me. Um, Let me just upload it for you. So I'm just going to put that in there. It's going to say, yeah, sounds good. go ahead and upload. So I'll put the upload file. I've got a file in here, I'm sure. There, I did today in the downloads, sample inspection report. Again, it was for like a very generic sample inspection report I grabbed off of the internet. So I don't even know what it has in there, but we'll just do that anyway. So I uploaded the PDF. It's just, there we go. And I'm going to say it's in there. I haven't added it yet, but I'm going to ask a question along with it. Can you summarize the key features of this report, identifying the major concerns? This is, guys, an example of just how to use the system. I wouldn't actually use it that way. I would read it over and I'd identify my own major concerns, but I'm just going to show you how it does look in the PDF and pull out the information I'm looking for. And there you go. So the property overview is a bungalow in the 1960s. It has 2 vertical cracks in the, so that's important. Other repair attempts, drainage, grading issues, electrical system concerns, the plumbing, the heating, the exterior. So here's a nice little, and then what I would tell it to do, to be honest, let's say if I was to kind of use this if I agreed with all the information in here, I would say, can you do me a favor? Don't use emojis. Write an email to my client that I've reviewed the inspection report and they should really consider looking at these features, or sorry, not the features, the concerns on the inspection. Don't make it too long, but make it professional. And then it'll write me a nice email to my. So, hey, John, I reviewed the home inspection report. There are several items that deserve close attention before moving forward. The inspector noted significant foundation movement, including large vertical cracks, ongoing settlement in the front of the home. I recommend having a structural engineer assess this as soon as possible. There are also issues of grading and drainage that should be corrected to prevent future water intrusion. In addition, the report highlights some electrical safety concerns involving the exposed live wiring and missing covers, which should be addressed by the licensed electrician. Other areas reviewed minor plumbing, moisture concerns. Please take some time to review these points carefully and let me know how you'd like to proceed. I can help arrange an appropriate specialist if needed. I mean, it's a great email, right? I might include some other things or tell it to adjust it, but that gives an example how I would use it. I will show you what the inspection report, let's just pop open, looked like. We've just, where it got this information. This is the original inspection, right? And you've seen the inspection reports before, right? It went through 67 pages, noting everything that was in that report. Anyway, there's 67 pages of an inspection report, and we got a nice summary of it. That's it. Any questions on that so far?
I have a question, Ryan. Sorry, Eryn.
Yep.
How much is reliable? Because sometimes ChatGPT is making mistakes and we are kind of responsible for that.
Absolutely. It's like your agreement of purchase and sale. It was given to you as a tool, but you need to know what's in there. It's the same thing. So this is a tool. You need to read it. If you agree with it, you're going to use it. If you don't agree with it, you're going to adjust it. So you have to use some common sense, and you have to make sure that it's the same thing. If I was to have an assistant that I hire, maybe I'm paying my assistant $40,000 a year, right? And that assistant is doing an email for me, which most assistants would, right? I would have to give that assistant the information. I'd want them to put it in a professional way that they can write better than I can write, right? So, but they can make mistakes. And in fact, I probably would say the assistant would make more grammatical mistakes, spelling mistakes, professional mistakes than ChatGPT. When I read that email that was done within 10 seconds, that created that email, how long would that take an assistant to do? Maybe an hour. So is it more efficient to use ChatGPT? Yes. Will it make mistakes? Yeah, probably. Can I catch it? Yeah. This took 10 seconds. I can read it over, make sure it's correct, cut, paste, put it into my thing. Whereas the assistant might do it, send it off, and I didn't review it. So I'm not saying it's a replacement 100% for an assistant. I'd actually still have an assistant do work, but I would have the assistant using a system like this in order to look over their work too, and make sure it's proper, and make sure that it's a tool that they use so that they can maybe call my clients and touch base and do more personal services for me that heightens my service level. So I wouldn't get rid of an assistant because there's a lot of things an assistant can do, but they can be more efficient. So the money I'm paying my assistant will go further. They'll be able to do more work, right?
For example, for the inspection, this is very professional things. Do you still read the 60 pages to make sure nothing missing, or you just trust the ChatGPT?
So I don't think I've ever read over an inspection report from top to bottom ever. Okay, I will say that because our time is valuable. I am always there with the inspector. I ask the inspector questions. I go through the tour of the home. I already know the information the inspector has in that report. So to me, it's already in my head, right? So the fact that they provide a report and I summarize the report and I agree with what ChatGPT came up with, because that's exactly what I would have said. I mean, it's just a tool, right? And I was there for it. So, am I going to read, if I did a commercial deal, the full commercial, probably, yeah, I'd read it over, but would I understand everything? Oh gosh, probably not, right? There's a lot of legalities in a commercial lease agreement, for example. But if I was to plug it into ChatGPT and say, hey, listen, can you see anything in here that I should be concerned about? And it kind of talks to me and it talks me through it. What's wrong with that? It's only giving me more information for me in order to understand what the information is trying to say.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. So guys, I can't say it enough. It's a tool, right? It's not the answer. It's not what you're going to rely on. It is what you're going to do in order to do your job more efficiently, right? So it's a great tool. It really is. So just be careful with it. What else can I show you with this? I do like the image processing of this. If I was going to want to do a social post, I'm gonna ask for something I think would be pretty cool. Okay, so we've done the home inspection. We negotiated a price difference. Thank you so much. I now want to do a quick image just of a similar house than the one I gave you, and just say it's just for a social post, right? So I'm going to be putting on Facebook, Instagram, and I just want to congratulate my sellers. We just had the inspection report, and they just bought the property. So can you do an image that just kind of shows, a congratulations? Now, keep in mind, I mean, this is an example how to use it. I wouldn't typically do it this way because I take a picture myself of the actual people, but I just want to show you how it creates some images. And it's getting a lot better. It's taking more time to create the image than it has in the past. So it is something that'll take more time, but it comes up with a much better design, and it's starting to actually do text properly as well. So you can put some text and images.
Eryn, hi.
Hello.
Hi. Can we do virtual staging by ChatGPT?
Any virtual staging needs to be, like, you can, because that's essentially what you're paying a virtual stager for, right? There's very good systems now, and I wouldn't use ChatGPT to do it, although it could do probably a decent job. There are services that you can pay like $20 and they'll do a full house for you for virtual staging.
Can you introduce them, one of them?
I'll show you it in a second. Yeah, just give me a sec. Yeah. So in the past, a year ago, this would not say congratulations. It would say congratulations. Like, it just didn't get text properly. It does a good job of it now. In fact, it does logos as well. So if you have your logo, you can upload your logo into the system and say, add the logo to this, and it'll do a good job of it. And I'll actually make your logo go. I mean, this is fairly basic. I could say, hey, can you put a couple people in front of it, put my sign up there? I don't know, do lots of stuff. But check out the look of that house. I want to see if I can bring up. It actually did take the look of our house that we just did. Nah, they didn't. Okay. So it's just a similar house. But it does generate images. Dulal?
I want to say what, about Humania. I order Humania full package, and what happened? My house was empty. Is condo. Another house is Hamilton. This. When I tell them to do virtual staging, this is they did not do.
Yeah, they don't do virtual staging, and it's not something that they necessarily, they may do in the future, because I know they're going to be updating what they're doing. I'll be honest with you, when it comes to virtual staging, I'm just not a fan, to be honest. Well, I
But
can see it.
just to
But just like, so I see it as a marketing opportunity. I don't see it as a listing opportunity. So listing a house with virtual staging done as your pictures will disappoint people when they get there. I don't like disappointing people. I would do the condo, and then I would do probably maybe on my website, and or I would make a disclosure that virtual staging has been done, but I give the original pictures too. I don't want people to be disappointed when they get there.
Yeah, this one is you say is very good idea. Say that disadvantaged people, but you mention is a virtual staging. Yeah, when they do virtual staging, just make client happy. This current market, make a seller happy. Say that yeah, I do some
No,
virtual
seller's going to
staging.
be
I
happy
make.
when you sell it, and you sell it for more money. Seller's not going to be happy when they're getting the feedback that they got to the property and it was nothing like the pictures that were in the agreement or
But
in
how
the
you want to
listing.
make seller happy nowadays? Market super slow.
No, I don't, but I give them the option, right? So if they say, listen, I'm set on virtual staging, I'm going to say, this is the reason why I don't like virtual staging. You tell me in the end, if I'll do what you want to do, that's my job. My job is to take your direction, but it's also to give you my opinion, being that I've been in the business for 20 years and I've seen the feedback that people get and the frustration that buyers have when they walk into a property expecting it to look amazing and it's vacant. Right. So you have to be careful on how you do it. It's just to be careful with it. That's all.
Okay, thank you,
Yep.
thank you.
I'm going to just do that answer. I think it was Massey was asking for virtual staging. This is how I come up with my information, guys. I would ask, actually, I'm going to do it this way. The only problem I have sometimes with this, and I'm going to show you. Hey, Nova, somebody asked a question about virtual staging, and I know you and ChatGPT and everything can virtually stage a house with pictures, but I'm looking for a more professional website or system to do it. Can you name the top 3 that are out there currently?
Absolutely. If you're looking for some professional grade virtual staging platforms, a few big names come to mind. Box Brownie is one that's really popular in the industry. They offer a full suite of photo enhancements and virtual staging services. Another good one is Stuckco, which is known for pretty realistic and customizable interior staging. And then there's also Virtual Staging Solutions, which has been around for a while and is pretty well regarded for quality and speed. Any of those 3 should give you a solid result.
So see how I talked to her? I didn't get the full transcript of that. So Box Brownie, I would have to ask it again. What were those 3, right? So that's why it's a drawback to having a conversation. Sometimes it's not typed out on your phone. Now it types it out in front of you now, which is an upgrade that they just put in place. But anyway, it's just more of a feature. Box Brownie is the one I was thinking of. So if you are looking for a virtual staging system, Box Brownie is the one that I know of.
Okay.
Nazanin?
Yes, actually, ChatGPT has the ability, for example, if I upload a picture and I say, put a nice car beside this house or a child playing there, ChatGPT do that?
Yes, that's exactly what it does. For example,
Mhm.
I don't know if it knows what I look like, but let me just ask it. Can you recreate that image and have me at the front of the house shaking some people's hand, maybe with a Century 21 sign on the front lawn? Again, I can't shaking someone's hand with a Century 21 sign front lawn. So as we're talking about that, if there's any other questions, because it does take a minute to, oh, it's asking for a clear photo of myself. I think you may have one. If not, just do a good looking young man with blonde hair. And that's all I'll need.
So it means you upload a picture from yourself first
Yeah.
and ask GPT to put beside the house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can do that. And sometimes it'll get it, and sometimes it'll mess it up. But you know, I've uploaded full pictures of our management team and asked it to recreate it. What it does is it gives you a likeness of yourself. It's they're not allowed to take exact replica copies, but they still do a pretty good job of it. So yeah, you can play with it. These are the fun things to try and play with. So it'll create that image, and we'll see what it comes up with. The other thing I'm going to go, because we've got 10 minutes left, and I do want to show you why Gemini would be used as well, and why I'm going to be doing Notebook LM moving forward at the end of the month. And then the other AI models that I brought up, there's Jasper and Otter, Canva. These are all different ways that you can take the power of AI, and they've now created a platform to really do a lot of work for you. Looks like it's just having a bit of a problem there. It'll get that in a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide over to Google, come back to it. Gemini is the next one on the list. Okay. And what Gemini is this ChatGPT for Google. It's Google's version of exactly what we just did. So there's very little that's different about it other than they have different models and they focus on certain things and they do certain things better, right? One of the reasons why people use Gemini is for full reports. For example, if you want to give it 20-page report, let's say on a development, let's say it was like the new development at one of the condos in the city, and you can plug it for as much of information as possible and say, okay, I want to create a report of this project and put it in my, you know, basically I say my own words, but in different words. And please be detailed, or it'll come up with a nice 20-page report on the development explaining all the differences of the areas and why to buy in there and everything. So it does a good job of written content. And they're saying that, so I'm not sure if they mentioned that in here, but anyway. So it's the same idea as ChatGPT. I'm just going to go in there and I'll tell you why I still think it's better. It's just having a bit of a time with the internet there. So let's go into Gemini. I'm going to go over to, just going to move my screen around a little bit here. I'm just going to open up a new window and go to Google. So you will see Gemini throughout all of Google services now. So if we turn AI mode on, for example, you can go right into the AI mode of Google and they use Gemini. Okay. So when you're asking questions, and we'll go back to Google, when you're asking questions like top restaurants again in Newmarket, you might get an AI answer as well, which in this case you did not. But you'll notice that sometimes what it will do is it'll give you an AI answer at the top of your results. It'll look like this, right? Newmarket has a variety of top restaurants, so it's using Gemini. That is using Gemini, but if you want to get into Gemini specifically, like you are using ChatGPT, go over to the list of apps, go down to you see Gemini, and it will log you into Gemini. I'll ask you a few questions like, hello, you know, what do you want to do today? And that sort of thing. Do you want to, you know, make a picture, headshots, you know, you're just going to enter the prompt down here, just like you would in ChatGPT. The pluses here, you can add files to Gemini. So if we added the same file that we added earlier for ChatGPT, for example, the sample inspection report, without paying, it will do that for you. And that's the main reason why Gemini is going to be good for you guys to start with too, is that it's giving you a little bit more for not having to pay. Give me a summary of this report. And it should do the same sort of thing that ChatGPT did. So you will have some people like, oh no, I prefer Gemini over ChatGPT. Other people will be the opposite. For me, I could be using Gemini and be like super happy with it. I made a decision a year ago that I'm paying for the pro version of ChatGPT and I stuck to it. So as you can see, it's not as detailed as ChatGPT was in this case, you can ask for it to be more detailed, go through all the sections, for example, right? Any questions so far on that? There's that side view of exactly, some of the, I guess, some of the searches you've done. If you go to explore gems, and there's a new thing called Storybook. Storybook's interesting. It's not something you're going to use most likely. But it's like, give me something that's going on in your life, and I'll create a book over it, and it'll tell a story about, your trip to the Blue Jays game last week or something. The gems section is for specific conversations about topics. So, these are examples of them. You can create a gem, um, and give it instructions, and it's kind of like, creating a project, and it'll give you more specific information about that topic. What I'm going to be showing at the end of the month is Notebook LM, and it's using Gemini. It's just another feature within the Google platform. I'm just going to show you. So instead of Gemini, right, I'm going to go to Notebook LM. There it is. This one's interesting. And I think this would be really good for real estate agents. You create a notebook, and it will be 123 Main Street, for example. It's a listing at 123 Main Street. And this is where you're uploading all your sources, your information, your listing agreement, everything. And you're creating a full project on that listing. And I'm going to be going through how to do that and kind of show you. There are ways that it really can start to it's called mind mapping the whole process. And I haven't played with it enough to go into detail, and that's why I want to do that this month and then show you guys at the end of the month. So this is one of the ones I want to bring up at the end of the month for you guys. Let's go back over to ChatGPT and see. Yeah, it didn't. Any questions so far? We're just running out a little bit of the time there. But I wanted to give you guys an idea when it comes to what we are going to be going over monthly, at least a couple times a month, is diving into the rest of these things. Jasper AI is going to be a marketing assistant for you. It's going to, if you pay for it, and it's not cheap, right? And this is where it's asking you now to pay upwards. I think it's probably about $70 Canadian a month. So if you go down that, it does say that it has a demo, which I did use, and I used up my demo. So I couldn't show it to you today. But I would have to pay over $1,000 Canadian in order to have the version of Jasper for the year. And I didn't want to do that today. We had other things to talk about, but at some point in time, we are going to dive into Jasper because it is a full marketing solution for social media and creating content for your, it could be listing presentations, it could be your social media posts. It does a lot, right? So it's using the power of ChatGPT, but it's putting it into a more marketable format for you guys to really do some cool things with your marketing. Canva does the same sort of thing. It does social media posts. It is less expensive because Jasper goes deep into it, whereas Canva gives a free version that's pretty decent to start with, and then you can actually plug Jasper into Canva. Otter AI. We're not going to go into that right now, but it is suggested as one of the best for real estate agents to start using call assistants. It is something some of you may use actually in this meeting, right? I'm not sure if we have any AI bots in our meeting today, like Firefly, for example. Otter AI does that as well, so it can be on a call and summarize the call for you, or a Zoom meeting, for example. It can do other things as well. Gamma is what I was using for creating presentations. I showed at the beginning of today, and then Notebook LM I'm doing at the end of the month. So it gives you all the real estate tools that are currently the top tools for real estate agents. Then that's what I'm going to go forward with. Pop back over. There's my version of myself that I think I look like. and with my Century 21 sign, congratulating that that buyer. You know, it does a pretty good job. It even got some of our logos and stuff like that in there without me having to prompt it too much. So kind of gives you guys an example. It is coming up on 11 o'clock. So any other questions or suggestions for the future? All right. If that's all, I will see everybody at Notebook LM, and I'm going to have to do lots of research on that because it's pretty cool and I have not dug deep into it yet. So I'll see you guys then.